So, since I haven't made any prediction videos this season, technically, I'm undefeated. Welcome back. Incredible. Broncos win. Sir, I'm going to need you to speak a little quieter. You're peeking your microphone. Sir, they don't ask how, they ask how many.
I want to throw this team off of a cliff.
Like they always say, no better time to start making prediction videos than week 4. Nobody says that. People should start saying that. They should start saying that. With how this NFL season's gone, I'm not entirely convinced that I'm going to go do that well. Last week I was 0-0 in my predictions. So I hope I get more right this week. Starting off Thursday night football, we have the Seattle Seahawks taking off on the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle coming off a win, Arizona coming off a loss. And think about this game, obviously Arizona losing James Conner to an injury, a pretty gruesome leg injury there. Trey Benson's going to be playing instead. Finally, the rookie getting some play. This one, Seattle, they put the beat down on the New Orleans Saints. And the New Orleans Saints are not good at all, but still, they put down the beat down. And the Seahawks have done a fairly good job this season. I'm not super sold on this team, but I believe in them more than the Cardinals. I'm going to take the Seahawks to win this one in what I expect to be a surprisingly tight game. But the Cardinals, they just, once again, they're kind of that team that I don't believe in. Next, we're going to have a little bit of the Irish going on. We have the Ireland game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, now that I've alienated the entirety of Ireland, we get to the predictions. Both teams are 2-1. Vikings coming off a huge win over the Bengals, 48-10, where they absolutely killed them. They just dismantled the Bengals offense. The Steelers coming off a win as well, but they're coming off a win that they won by no fault of their own. I mean that in the worst way possible. The Patriots handed the ball away so many times in that game, and the Steelers didn't capitalize on that. Moving back to the continent where the rest of the games are on, we got the Washington Commanders taking on the Atlanta Falcons, and the Atlanta Falcons had one of the most strange games I've ever seen as they lost 30-0 to the Carolina Panthers, a game where they outgained them, they outproduced them in everywhere but the score. They were shut out. Michael Penix with 2 brutal interceptions and outbreaking routes. Now they have to play the Commanders, who are coming off a huge win over the Raiders, a game where they were missing Jaden Daniels, and Marcus Mariota still carried them. I don't think it matters when Mariota or Daniels are in this game. Either way, I just think the Commanders are just a better team top to bottom than the Falcons. I expect them to win this one handedly. I don't expect the Falcons to get shut out, but wouldn't be surprised if we see Kirk Cousins again in this week. Moving on, we have the battle of 0-3 versus 3-0. We have the Saints taking on the Bills, and the Saints this season have been pretty bad. Everyone expected them to be worst team in the league level, and they haven't been quite there. They've been okay. Last week, obviously, got beat down by the Seattle Seahawks. This game isn't looking all that good for them. The Bills 3-0 coming off a divisional win against the Dolphins, a game that was closer than many people thought, but the Saints are just not as good a team as the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are 0-3 as well. So I expect this easy win for the Bills. This is an easy pick for me. Buffalo rolls to 4-0. Next up, we have a really sneaky tough game. It is the Cleveland Browns taking on the Detroit Lions. The Browns coming off a clutch win over the Green Bay Packers, where they won 13-10 thanks to a blocked field goal and a Jordan Love late interception. The thing about the Browns is their defense is elite. It is a high-level defense, but their offense continues to struggle. And I'd like to see Judkins maybe get some more touches. Maybe get more touches, and maybe he can get the offense going a little bit. But this team doesn't give me all that much to be excited about. The Lions, on the other hand, winning 38-30 on Monday Night Football over the Baltimore Ravens, a game where they just suffocated Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Even though they gave up 30 points, Lamar Jackson was running for his life. The defense was very disciplined. They sacked him 7 times. And the thing about this game, that's obviously the Lions run a lot through their run game. And the Browns did a great job of shutting down the Packers' run game. And their defensive line is they're monsters. They are monsters under your bed scary. They are so good. And I expect them to fairly neutralize the Lions' run game in this one. However, I think the Lions' defense is going to pose too much trouble for the Browns. I don't think they're going to be able to repeat the heroics they pulled off against the Lions' division rival and the Packers. I have the Lions winning this one in what should be probably a pretty ugly football game because it's the Cleveland Browns, and they won't give us anything nice. Moving on, we have the 1-2 Carolina Panthers traveling to New England to play the 1-2 New England Patriots. The Patriots, like I mentioned briefly with the Steelers, the Patriots just lost a game against the Steelers where they handed it away, literally handed it away. Ramondre Stevenson with multiple fumbles. They fumbled the ball on the goal line multiple times. Like you did almost all the work, and then you hand it away at the last second. It's so bad, and I can't imagine what the meetings were like this week for that team because it was just not disciplined football. That being said, the Panthers are not a good football team. They did win 30-0 over the Falcons, but I'm just going to call that, sometimes random stuff happens kind of thing. I'm not going to take too much from that. I was hoping for Bryce Young to really take a step this season, second year under Dave Canales, and I'm not ruled out on him completely, but he does just look like he's not very good. And the Patriots, the one thing they do have is they have a defense. Drake May did play pretty well, and assuming they hold on to the football, I expect them to actually score points in this game. I have the Patriots beating the Panthers, though this one I think is going to be a kind of a sneaky, interesting game, especially if both teams play super sloppy. Moving on, we got the 3-0 Los Angeles Chargers taking on the New York Jackson Darts. Russell Wilson getting benched, Jackson Dart thrown into the fiery hell that is this San Diego. I just did. Nope, wrong spot. They haven't been in San Diego for years. It's been a long time since they've been in San Diego. Why are you saying San Diego? Los Angeles Chargers. This defense is really good. Obviously, they did a pretty good job against the Broncos on Sunday where they won that game 23-20. And yeah, I've talked about that ad nauseum, so I don't need to talk about how sad that game made me feel because it made me feel sad. Chargers are a great team. I put them top 5 in my power rankings this week and have to play a rookie quarterback. This is just not a game that the Giants should win. In fact, this game shouldn't be close. I expect the Chargers to soundly beat the Giants, and if they don't, I'll be pretty disappointed. The Giants are fighting for Brian Daboll's job, and I don't know if it's savable. Chargers win. Next up, we have arguably the game of the week. We have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both teams 3-0. Both teams had a block kick returned for a touchdown in their game, except for the Eagles did it to win, and the Bucs had it happen against them and still won. Both these teams undefeated. Both these teams made their games closer than they should. It's kind of opposite stories. Bucs started strong, let the Jets back into it, then came back and won it. The Eagles didn't show up till the second half, but they fought their way back against the Rams. They made it close, and then they blocked the field goal, take it back. Jordan Davis all the way, 4-6. They win 33-26. Now, this game is really... It should be a really good game because both these teams are good. I do have the edge going to the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. They are, like I've said, they are the best team in the NFL until they tell us otherwise. And I don't think that the Buccaneers have what it takes to take down the Eagles, especially with their injuries that they're dealing with. Mike Evans, both their tackles injured. They're banged up. I expect this one to be a loss. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be hard fought, but Eagles win this one. Bucks fall to 3-1. It's fine. You'll meet each other in the playoffs probably. Moving on, we have the Titans and the Texans. Now, these two teams both 0-3. And what's funny, if before the season you told Titans fans that they had the same record as the Texans, they'd be stoked. I think most Titans fans would have taken that. Fast forward to week 4, and the Texans are 0-3 as well. CJ Stroud and the Texans really just... having a time of it this season to get the offense going. The Titans behind Cam Ward. What's funny about the Titans is that their offense isn't even Cam Ward's fault. Brian Callahan has been the problem offensively for the Titans, and now they handed over play calling duties. Maybe some of that changes. The Texans, though, their defense is still really good. They're playing a rookie quarterback. I do not expect Cam Ward to win this game. I expect this to be the get-right game the Texans need to get back on the winning column. We'll see. I have the Texans winning, but who knows what's going to happen with these two teams. Moving on, we have another incredible matchup. We have the 3-0 Colts taking on the 2-1 Rams. The Rams coming off a game where they blew it against the Eagles. The Colts coming off an easy win over the Titans. Now, this was a hard game for me to pick because obviously the Colts have been rolling. A lot of people are getting on that bandwagon, getting on the hype. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to cut to the chase because I want to spend most of this segment explaining why I'm taking the Rams over the Colts. The Rams' run defense absolutely suffocated Saquon Barkley and the Eagles last week, and that's something huge. The Colts, part of the reason Daniel Jones has done so good is because the offensive line's given him time to throw, and Jonathan Taylor is having a revival of his career. I think that the Rams are going to be able to take away Jonathan Taylor, and I think their defense is going to be able to get enough pressure on Daniel Jones. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to have a bad game. I think this is going to be a really good game. Arguably, I think maybe the best game of the week, but I think taking away Jonathan Taylor against a good team like the Rams will be just enough for them to be able to beat the Colts and show everyone that Indiana Jones is mortal. Next up, we have two teams who don't score points. It's the Jaguars and the 49ers. The Jaguars coming off a win against the Texans, which was real close to being a loss. The 49ers coming off a win against the Cardinals that was real close to being a loss. This game is not really that interesting. The Jaguars just kind of floundering. They have all these names that should be so exciting. Brian Thomas Jr., they have Travis Etienne, they have Trevor Lawrence, they have Travis Hunter. All these guys are on paper studs that just for some reason this team can't play. They do not have a good offense. Now they have to go up against a team that is, while completely decimated by injuries, is very, very solid defensively. Bringing back Robert Saleh to this team has made this defense back to what we expected the 49ers defense to be. They have been very, very solid defensively. I expect that to continue in this game. I do not have confidence in either of these offenses, but the edge to me goes to the 49ers at home with this defense going all out on a team that has no direction in the Jaguars. Yeah, give me the Niners. Now we have the game that everyone would expect to be the game of the week. I don't have any confidence in this game. We have the 1-2 Ravens taking on the 1-2 Chiefs. Now the Ravens coming off of a close loss to the Lions. They have now had two close losses, both to playoff teams. The Chiefs getting their first win of the season against the Giants, and I think the thing about that game is you walk away from it going, this team is not the same team that has been in the playoffs basically the tenure of Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs were completely discombobulated offensively, and they were a good enough team that they can overcome a team like the Giants. The Ravens are just better. And now, if the Chiefs come out and play this game good, maybe they change my mind, but they have not shown me anything this season to believe that this game should be even close. I have the Ravens here pretty convincingly, and as long as they play the fourth quarter, I think that they'll win pretty convincingly. Next up, we got the Bears versus the Raiders. The Bears coming off a big win over the Cowboys. The Raiders coming off a big loss against the Commanders. Now, the Bears finally getting back on track. Look like Ben Johnson finally getting his team going. That post-game speech, it's the most emotion I've ever seen from Ben Johnson. He looked so hyped. Now they have to get to go take on a Raider team that is exactly what everyone but Raider fans thought the Raiders were going to be, which is not good. The Raiders are showing you why taking a running back high like Genty isn't usually a good strategy, because they don't have the pieces around to help him to succeed. Running backs need support pieces to do good. Genty's just wasted on this team, and I don't expect them to win. The Bears, I don't know how much I believe in Caleb Williams. The team has kind of been all over the place, but I am going to give them this game because I have even less confidence in the Raiders. Pete Carroll, I think this is just a couple years too late for him. Geno Smith, it's not the same. This team isn't good, and yeah, I don't think they're going to shock anyone this season. They're going to shock everyone with how mediocre they are because the Raiders are always going to be mediocre. Then we have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, you know, they really use a guy like Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons coming back to Dallas in a wrong uniform. And Jerry Jones has announced that they will not be giving him a tribute video. It just adds the cacophony of errors that is the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys coming off a 31-14 loss to the Chicago Bears. The Packers coming off a heartbreaker against the Browns. This, to me, is the game that is a get right. The Packers defense all season's been good. That was the one game that the Packers offense floundered. The Cowboys don't have a defense. I expect this game to be incredible, and watch for Micah Parsons to get like 3 sacks. I feel like this is a game that Dak Prescott's going to put up as many yards as he can muster, and it's not going to matter because guess what? The rest of the team sucks because you need more than just a decent to good quarterback. You need a full team. Javonte Williams, I don't expect him to average over 3 per carry. Probably punching a couple goal line scores because that's what he does. Love Javonte, but yeah, this game, if the Packers lose this game, I'll be very concerned. Monday Night Football doubleheader. We have the New York Jets taking on the Miami Dolphins in the absolute barn burner of 0-3 terrible football. This game was one of the hardest for me to pick. I actually texted a friend of mine who's a Jets fan and asked him who I should do. And he responded with a cryptic message that I don't totally understand, what made me feel that he's not as confident in this team either. This game is hard to pick. Both these teams coming off losses. The Jets coming off probably the more impressive loss as they almost came back to beat the Buccaneers. The Dolphins, just a shell of themselves. I really want to pick the Dolphins to win this game. Mike McDaniels gets back on his horse. This offense starts going, especially with Quincy Williams gone. Maybe, the running game goes with Gordon and Achane. But I just can't. The Jets are a pretty well-coached team. Aaron Glenn's doing a solid job. The Jets feel like they're trending up. Or at least neutral. The Dolphins are in a tailspin. I don't think they fix it this week. Dolphins fall to 0-4. Man, how the mighty have fallen with the Dolphins from 70 to 20 to now 0-4. Man, used all your points up in one game, Dolphins. Maybe you should have saved some. Don't be greedy now. And finally, I don't know why we have Monday Night Football doubleheaders. So I used to live on, the West Coast. I used to live in California. I didn't mind Monday Night Football doubleheaders. Great. Love more football. Now this game starts way too late for me. This is a really late game. I don't like it. And now, I have compassion for the rest of you East Coasters. I live in Michigan now. Yeah. Go Wolverines. I have a Michigan sweater somewhere here. Off topic, the Broncos taking on the Bengals. What should be the Broncos get-right game. The Bengals eviscerated by the Vikings at 48-10. They looked completely lost. And the Broncos aren't a great rebound spot for the Bengals. The Broncos match up pretty well against the Bengals defensively, and offensively the Broncos need something because so far this season we were billed the Broncos to be a Super Bowl contender, and they have been meh. I need to see this team take a step forward. This is the game I expect them to do it. I expect Bo Nix to look better. If he doesn't look better, we're having a very different video come Tuesday. When, you're going to want to tune in for that one. But if they win, still tune in. But, to me, Broncos win this one. I'm going to have, my boys win this one and hope. Oh, man, if they lose this game, oh, my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It does help me out. And actually, even if it doesn't help me out in the algorithm, it just makes me feel better because it, gives me numbers. And I focus way too much on the analytics as I put these videos out. Keep it up. Thank you for watching. I need to get better at outros because I just kind of wander off and then I decide, you know what? Video's going to end here.